Most people who are broke at 30 expect to be fine by 40. They weren't reckless. They weren't irresponsible. They worked hard, earned decent money, and told themselves they were doing the right things. But somewhere between the paychecks and the plans, the money disappeared, not dramatically, not all at once, but quietly, one reasonable decision at a time. And here's what makes this so insidious. The mistakes that keep people financially stuck past $50,000 don't look like mistakes. They look normal. They look like everybody else. They look like adult life. My name is Anderson, and today I want to walk through the 7 most common financial behaviors that silently prevent people from crossing and staying above the $50,000 threshold. Not to make you feel bad, but because naming them clearly is the first step to stopping them. Mistake number 1, inflating your lifestyle every time your income rises. There is a pattern that happens so reliably, it might as well be a law of human behavior. Income goes up. Lifestyle follows immediately after. The raise becomes a better apartment. The promotion is for a new car. The bonus disappears into a vacation that felt completely justified in the moment. And in isolation, none of those choices are wrong. The problem is math. Picture 2 people who both get a $10,000 raise. One uses $3,000 of it to increase their monthly investment contribution and keeps their lifestyle exactly where it is. The other absorbs the entire raise into their spending without thinking twice. Within 5 years, the first person is sitting on a compounding foundation the second person can't easily catch up to, not because of dramatically different incomes, but because of one deliberate decision made on raise day. The moment you earn more is the single most dangerous financial moment you will face, because the temptation to spend more feels earned. And technically, it is. But so is the future you're quietly trading away. Mistake number 2, saving without a separate emergency fund. This is one of the most expensive structural errors I see, and it rarely gets discussed. Here's what happens. Someone works hard, builds their savings up to $8,000 or $10,000, feels good about the progress, and then life happens. A medical bill, a car repair, a period of unemployment. The savings get pulled down to cover it, and the psychological reset that follows is brutal. Most people don't just lose the money, they lose the momentum. The identity of someone who saves gets quietly replaced with the belief that saving doesn't work for people like them, and they start the cycle again from zero. The solution is structural, not motivational. Keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a completely separate account. A high-yield savings account is fine, and treat that as untouchable infrastructure. Not savings, not investment. Insurance. Your investment account is not a backup fund. The moment you treat it that way, you train yourself to spend it. Mistake number 3, carrying high-interest debt while trying to invest. This one is mathematically precise, and almost nobody does the actual calculation. If you are carrying $8,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest, you are losing $1,760 a year in interest charges alone. If you are simultaneously putting $500 a month into a savings account earning 4%, you are gaining $240 a year. That is a net annual loss of $1,520 every single year. You are paying for the privilege of watching your savings account grow while your debt silently costs you more than twice what you're gaining. The right sequence is not to invest and carry debt simultaneously. The right sequence is to eliminate high-interest debt first, aggressively, and then redirect every dollar that was going to interest payments directly into your investment portfolio. The math is not subtle. The only thing that makes this mistake feel comfortable is that paying minimums and saving a little feels responsible. It isn't. It is expensive. Mistake number 4, keeping long-term savings in cash. $30,000 sitting in a regular savings account at 1% interest is not safe. It is shrinking. With inflation running at 3%, your money is losing 2% of its purchasing power every single year. In 10 years, that $30,000 will only buy what $24,600 buys today. You didn't spend it, You didn't lose it in the market. You left it in the bank, and inflation quietly took $5,000 from you while the balance on the screen stayed the same. Cash has a role: emergency funds, near term goals, liquidity. But money you won't need for 5 years or more should not be sitting in cash. It should be working, because the cost of not investing is not zero. It is inflation, compounded silently every year you wait. If you're still with me, take 2 seconds to hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. Mistake number 5, stopping during downturns. This is the mistake that looks most like wisdom in the moment and costs the most in the long run. Markets fall, sometimes dramatically. And when they do, the instinct to pause, pull back, or wait for stability feels like prudence. It isn't. It's the most expensive version of caution you can practice. Here's the math. If you invest $500 a month consistently for 20 years, you end up with approximately $334,000. If you pause your contributions for just 2 years during a market downturn, say years 5 through 7, when the fear feels justified, you end up with approximately $192,000 instead. That 2-year pause costs you $142,000 in long-term wealth. Not because the market didn't recover, it did, but because the shares you didn't buy during the downturn were the cheapest shares you would ever have the chance to buy, and you were too afraid to buy them. Consistency is not just a virtue in investing, it is a mathematical edge, and it is most valuable exactly when it feels most difficult. Mistake number 6. Using income as identity. This is the quietest mistake on this list, and it is one of the most financially destructive. When income becomes identity, spending becomes a form of self-expression. The job title comes with expectations about the car you drive, the neighborhood you live in, the restaurants you frequent, the clothes you wear, and meeting those expectations starts to feel like part of the role. The result is what I call the high-income trap. A person earning $90,000 a year, spending $88,000, investing almost nothing, and a person earning $65,000 a year, living modestly, investing $15,000 annually. After 15 years at 9%, the person who earned more has far less because they were spending an identity instead of building a position. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep working after you stop. Confusing one for the other is how people arrive at 60 with high career status and low financial security. The separation of lifestyle from earnings is not deprivation. It is the single most powerful financial decision most people are afraid to make. Mistake number 7, saving without a specific target. This might be the most underestimated mistake of all because it sounds like a minor detail rather than a structural problem. Most people save vaguely. They contribute when they can, skip when they can't, check their balance occasionally, and tell themselves they're making progress. But without a specific threshold, a number with a timeline saving remains an aspiration rather than a plan, and aspirations don't survive contact with real life. Plans sometimes do. The $50,000 mark, saved and invested with a clear timeline, changes the behavior around it. When you know exactly what you're building toward and why it matters because you understand that $50,000 at 9% becomes $663,000 over 30 years, you make different daily decisions, not more painful ones, different ones. Saving $200 a month erratically will take 18 years to reach $50,000. Saving $500 a month with a clear target takes 6 years and 2 months. The difference is not income. It is my intention. Here is what I want you to do before this week is over. First, look at your last 3 pay raises. Write down how much your investment contributions increased with each one. If the answer is nothing or very little, you have found the source of your plateau. Second, check whether your emergency fund is completely separate from your investment or savings account. If they are in the same place, they will eventually serve the same purpose and not the one you intended. Third, calculate the true annual cost of any high-interest debt you're currently carrying. Compare it directly to what your savings are earning. If your debt is winning, the math has already told you what to do next. Fourth, Find the last time you paused your investment contributions and estimate how many months you missed. Then imagine those months as discounted shares you declined to buy. That is the actual cost of the pause. Fifth, write down one number, the number you are building toward. Give it a timeline. Make it specific, not, I want to save more. $50,000 by this date. That sentence changes everything that follows it. Let's go back to where we started. The person who arrives at 40 still financially stuck is almost never the person who made catastrophic decisions. They are the person who made 7 small ones repeatedly, invisibly, quietly, without ever seeing the pattern they added up to. These mistakes don't feel like mistakes. They feel normal, and that is exactly what makes them so expensive. But the moment you can see them clearly not as character flaws, but as behavioral patterns with mathematical consequences, everything changes. You don't need a different income, you need a different map. You now have one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.